Welcome back, everybody, to another Fintech Friday episode. I'm Brian Vieaux, President, Chief Operating Officer at FinLocker, and I am super stoked to have maybe a three-time returning guest, Jason Frazier. What's up, Frazier?
What's up, Brian? Hey, if it's three times, I'm excited to have been thought of that highly and not screwed up your show the two times before. So, hey, man, I'm always happy to hang out and talk with you.
Likewise, I love our riff sessions. So I'll have to send you a coffee mug for the appearance fee, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you made a move, man. You made a move in Q4 of 2022. Exciting move to leadPops, one of my favorite platforms, run by one of my favorite humans, Andrew Pollock. How's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Andrew's obviously just a great dude. I always give him a lot of crap, but he is a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for years. And prior to my last move, we had actually chatted about of me joining leadPops, but I had already committed going to VicFin, and so just wasn't the right time. But then as things, progressed and, just looking at what needed to be done and where am I going to make the biggest impact, I still continue to advise VicFin from an advisory role, and then join, had the opportunity to join leadPops as their EVP of Growth. And so I'm 2 months in, or 2.5 months in, and it's great. I'm excited. I've been a customer of leadPops on the lending side, and so I'm excited to actually get in behind the scenes. But ultimately, I'm just really excited because I joined at the right time because we were about to evolve and change and bring a whole new category to the industry, and to be a part of that and be able to help architect and build that with Andrew and the rest of the team at leadPops is just it's fun, right? It's something fun, and I can't wait to do it.
Yeah, there's moves that I see happening, across the industry from time to time, and sometimes some are head scratchers, and you're like, we'll see if that works out. When I learned of your move to leadPops, and I may or may not have learned earlier than the actual move, that was one that everything registered. I mean, it's like, that makes sense. That is a brilliant move on the part of Andrew. And frankly, a brilliant move on your part. I think it's one where the sum of 1 + 1 = 5, frankly, and couldn't be more excited for what you guys are going to do together. You're also heavily involved. You're repping the hat with the next level community, and I think everything just kind of ties nicely and cohesively together in terms of kind of where you are today in your career. So congratulations, man.
Well, thanks. And it is. I think for me, everything that's kind of falling in place right now has been a culmination of years of work and relationships, and just putting yourself in the right position to enjoy some of the connectivity that you get in this industry. And I would say when it came to leadPops, I want to say you're probably one of the first people that I talked to about it. So yeah, you definitely had the inside track on that. But
I may or may not have had the track from the other side too.
Exactly right. We're both talking, just trying to figure it out if it was a good thing. But yeah, that's been the consensus from everyone that has had when they learned about me moving over to leadPops. It's just like, hey, Andrew and myself would just be a good duo when it comes to the marketing, lead generation, and evolving and doing something different and new that's going to be of value to lenders and loan officers, and our strategic partners that we're developing. And you mentioned Next Level as one of the first strategic partnerships we did, because the vision and mission of Next Level and our purpose at leadPops absolutely, as it relates to the industry, absolutely aligns, and with the community that we're building at Next Level, having leadPops be a part of that, because one of the things that the community is going to be focused on, as it always has been, but in 2023 even more, is putting loan officers in the best position to succeed, right? Through advice, education, training, coaching and technology. And so, leadPops is happy to be, we have some other partners at Next Level as well, but leadPops, excited having, them and being able to be that bridge between the two companies. And look, just it's there's so many opportunities right now, and there's so many things to do to align with the right partners that it's just fun. Like this isn't like a slow end to the year. I know we were just talking about that before we went on, but it's definitely not been a slow year in a year for you, not for me. And I'm ready to go. So,
I think a lot of our audience is familiar with leadPops, but I think there's still a little bit of a misperception, if you will, of what leadPops is. I'll talk to people and they're like, oh, they build websites. And so it's like, well, wait a minute. There's a component of that that's accurate, but that's not the business model. Maybe you can just kind of take us a step back. And for those that aren't as familiar with leadPops, just tell us, give us the elevator pitch on who the heck leadPops is and what you do for the industry.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny that this is like the opportune time to have this conversation. I may get in trouble for some of this because I don't know how much I'm supposed to, relay yet. But that's actually been a challenge, right? It's, our product, and it's a little bit complex. And you can't, the reason why I'm excited with, how we're going to evolve, and I'll speak to that a little bit, kind of like for our new, elevator pitch, if you will. But it's really looking at the market as it lays today, where we know it's going to go in the future, looking at the last 10 years of an organization that has built, certain things, and from a marketing, from a branding, website, local SEO, and then also just this past year and seeing the landscape. And, for leadPops, it's always been about lead generation. Right? Yeah. It's in the name. There's always confusion with that because leadPops people are like, oh, can I buy leads from you? We don't sell leads, right? The platform, we have a SaaS platform, software as a service platform that our tech it makes up, all right, and that's our leadPops SaaS platform, and that is where we have websites. It's where we have our funnels, our funnel builder. We also have a Rebel Local widget, sticky bars. All of that's done within the platform. And it's all about lead generation. So it's whether it's you're using our websites or you're plugging our funnels into your websites, or you're using the funnels in your social media posts and on flyers and on billboards and everything in between, which is, what our tech allows you to do, as simply as just to convert traffic, right? Yep. It's to capture leads, but convert those leads. And we call it converting clicks in the clients and traffic in the transactions. That's really what we do. In essence, at for the SaaS platform, and I'm not being kind of coy on like trying to not give you an elevator pitch. Yeah. It's just because what's happening now, so I just got back from San Diego, just a little over 24 hours ago. Got back from San Diego from a 3-day leadership, basically, just a full SWOT analysis. Talk about the evolution. So in Q1 of leadPops, what I'm telling you now is going to change quite a bit. And, without giving too much away, you'll start to hear us mention some things and talk about some things. One of those is revenue optimization, which isn't something that's, rarely, if at all, talked about in our industry. And so you're going to see Andrew and myself talk more about that. You're going to see some more strategic partnerships and things get announced, and some fun things that we're doing. But all of this is going to evolve into what the new world of leadPops is going to be. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. Yeah. And so stay tuned for that. So Q1 is when we're launching that. It's a whole new world. leadPops isn't going away. But what we use our tools to do, and how we help coach and help you learn and connect with referral partners and everything in between, is going to be leveled up. It's going to be changed. It's going to be totally different. And, the one thing I can promise all of you, that whether you're a leadPops customer now, or you were before, or you're thinking about it, we will have no competitor. We will have no competitor. This is a brand new category that we're creating, and we're doing. And look, this isn't when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that in like a chest beating way. I'm just saying that because we have competitors in certain areas of our tool set and our platform, but we don't have someone that does exactly everything that we do. And I can tell you 100% that no one will be doing everything that we're doing in Q1 with all the things that we're launching in the way. But it's basically, just it's all going to be focused on whether it's a lender or a loan officer, a brokerage or a real estate agent. We are going to help you increase the sum of your income, right? Because right now every dollar counts.
Yep.
That's one of our battle cries going into 2023 to everyone, lenders and loan officers. We need to learn what happened in 2022 and use that to be better in 2023, but do it in a highly tactical way with being hyper focused on your strategy.
I love it, and again, I get a little inside baseball knowledge, so it's fun to kind of hear it start to come to life and see it come to life. The other misperception or misconception about leadPops is, it's only for mortgage brokers and loan officers, and that's like that couldn't be further from the truth. I know you all are in the process of contracting with one of the largest national lenders, and so
yep.
For our audience that kind of sits in that side of the business, maybe talk a little bit about the value of leadPops. And this may not be the website side of the business, but you named a couple other tools that are super cool. The Rebel Local in particular, I think, is one that's just outstanding for any size institution. Mm-hmm. And so this is not just a loan officer, mortgage broker product. This is, there's some of the largest of the large enterprises that are working with y'all.
Yeah. So that's important. Yeah, we have 3 big ones coming up, and that's what I kind of alluded to, stuff that I can't talk about now. But you'll know them when you hear them, right? They're not they're not unknowns by any stretch of the imagination. So we're excited about doing that. But you said it right. Like it's not just websites, and that's what a lot of, you have to be a loan officer, real estate agent. Obviously, that's our industry. It would be. We have a lot of time in this industry. We have a lot of knowledge. So it'd be stupid for us to say to not take advantage of $1 trillion industry and being the best at what you do. Right. But with that, one of the things that we are going to do is branch out in other verticals in the housing industry, and then go for that, because with our funnel builder product, we could create funnels for anything, any service. In fact, we are doing that. And
we have one.
So Brian has one, and then we have another big announcement is some ancillary services that we've already created everything for. And part of this is our 2.0, technology that we're going to be launching next year as well. Say 2.0, meaning it's just like the different versions, new things of doing things that we've done in the past, and better and more effective and efficient. And so insurance, we have, insurance could do that. We have some trades that are using that. Brian, you mentioned using that funnels. I'm using it for some things as well outside of it. And we're doing a lot of, kind of some stealth mode, kind of proof of concepts to make sure that it can. And at the end of the day, you just have to have tech that's agnostic, which we do. Yep. And you just have to have the strategies to do it. And again, which is stuff that we help out as well. And so, that's what I'm excited for, is that some of these partnerships, obviously in the industry, but through what I talked about in this evolution, and again, not trying to give too much away, but to your mention is we are going to also help loan officers and, our biggest client base actually create a larger sphere that we're calling a lead sphere, which is a new strategy. And we're going to blueprint exactly how you use our tech to do that, to create larger referral bases, stronger. And so you guys could partner up and actually co-generate leads all organically, right. I should mention as well. And if you want to do paid, you could do that too. But right now, everyone else could be happy trying to nickel and dime, loan officers when it comes to marketing. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to give you the right strategies, the right plans, and the means to execute them.
You talked about partnerships a couple different times, and just to bring it to kind of life, right? We have an interesting kind of product partnership with your funnels and the Rebel Local, and what Andrew and I were working on as you were, I think, joining the company was for our mutual relationships, bringing together their version of FinLocker and their relationship with leadPops to create as an example, at the end of a funnel, when you get to the thank you page, instead of the proverbial thank you, someone will connect with you soon or get back with you, whatever that is, it's thank you, download your free financial fitness app or whatever the lender calls it. So super excited to kind of start, working on the partnership side with you all and starting to help lenders connect their technology ecosystem in a more strategic way versus just all these pieces that are kind of running independent of each other. And I know you've been talking about kind of the tech stack and in making sure not only you have the right technology partners, products, services, but have the right strategy to connect them where it makes sense. And maybe we can just talk a little bit about your thoughts on, that connected tech stack and how, lenders, again, of all sizes should be thinking about, their partners today in that way.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. That tech stack, obviously, it's, with my background and whatnot, it's a big thing for me. And also just from being on all sides and all channels in this industry, just seeing how it is different for each one and how lenders approach it, loan officers approach it. But that kind of also goes, again, to what I was saying about the evolution. And, FinLocker is definitely a part of that as well. When I talked about that consortium of strategic partners and look, what I'm trying to help create with the right partners like Brian and others that have the right vision and mission and mindset is to create that disconnected tech stack into a more cohesive, seamless, workable solution across the board when you have companies that aren't necessarily the same company, right? And look, that happens in our industry sometimes where someone acquires it. Ellie Mae has been, that's all they've done is just, there's a piece of technology that they don't own or they don't use and it maybe competes or they just don't have it. So they acquire the company, right? To create a larger tech stack that all work, on paper at least, all work seamlessly together. And so, subtle dig, but when it comes to everything else in the industry, you have a lot of great tech out there, a lot of great solutions, and they solve one piece of the puzzle. And so what I'm looking at is the landscape of a right group of partners. I'm talking like a dozen or less that all play an integral part. And if we all align together in a common strategy to lenders and loan officers, and then work closely together to make sure that our systems seamlessly work in harmony with each other to fulfill that whole journey, workflow, whatever you want to call it, from cradle to grave, that is only a benefit to lenders from a cost perspective, from an interoperability perspective, and also from being aligned with the right partners, right? And so, look, and this isn't to say that other groups or collectives have tried to do this, but this is something different. This is really based off of looking at the strongest pieces of the loan experience on, again, every dollar counts and where we can do any type and to increase the sum of your income as a lender and a loan officer. And you do that by having an effective and efficient tech stack from people that actually enjoy working with each other. Right.
Well, I think one of the things that sometimes gets missed is the end customer, the consumer experience. What is the desired consumer experience? And if you have, 5 or 6 pieces of technology that in different ways touch the consumer and they're disjointed, that's representative of you and your brand at the end of the day in the eyes of that consumer. And so what I love what you're thinking about and what you're talking about is not just bringing it together for the good of the loan officer, the good of the lender, and the ability to sum up the revenue. That's all important, but really it's at its core, it's about the end customer experience and how that reflects on your brand as, the service provider, the lender in this case. Sometimes we kind of miss that part of it. And I think you've got, again, with your background, your experience, you're able to kind of bring that consumer aspect to the forefront as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Because you know just as well as I do, especially with FinLocker being an important tool on this, is about the retention, right? It's about keeping that client. It's a very important part of our framework that we're going to be our new framework at leadPops that we're going to be releasing, in the next quarter. But it's keep is an important part of that framework, and that's all about retention. And that, and as anyone that pays attention knows that our retention in our industry is very low across the board, with Rocket being number one. And the reason why is there's no fragmentation in their experience and what they do, as opposed to the majority of us in the lending industry kind of all do what we want to do, right? Different CRMs, different scripts, different greetings, gifting, and all that other stuff. And so, hopefully, I think, as like you asked me before about, messages to lenders on this, is you got to start making a concerted effort to create a streamlined and consistent across the board experience. Look, I know everyone that, you want as much production as you could get. So you're going to, and I could say this from being an executive on the lending side. Yes, I know we want our loan officers to use the CRM if they want to, and yada, 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 and all that stuff. But you got to understand the market that you're playing in right now and who you're competing against. And if some aren't doing one or doing right, that's an ultimate brand, brand game that you're playing there. So you just have to be careful with that. Because at the end of the day, like Brian says, is that, the experience matters most, because I'm thinking customer lifetime value. Anytime you hear me talking about marketing or coaching or products or any of that stuff, I always look for the customer lifetime value element, because that's because that's important, right? If you're only keeping 22% of that, that means you're losing at over 78% of your revenue. All right. Opportunity. Right. Yep. And so to not focus on that. And that's what I say is that's the part that people half-ass the most on their drips and everything else. Yeah. It's like, once they close them, it's like, man, that's where you want to invest the most. Yeah. Right. Because anyone that sells anything or has any type of technology product knows that it is vastly more expensive to acquire new customers. Right. Right. And so so just know that it's just math at that point. And so just to not have a focus on that is crazy. And that's, again, where leadPops and I know FinLocker are going to play in high regard on that retention game.
Yeah. So I recently joined the Next Level community. So we'll talk we'll shift gears a little bit, because okay. I can tell you that I'm following it every day, and just I'm amazed at the level of engagement across the community and the high value content that's being shared. And everything you just talked about for the last 20 minutes is stuff that is happening 20x inside the Next Level community. And what I'm enjoying about the community, the platform, is I'm familiar with loan officer coaching platforms, and right or wrong, my mindset was those are always geared to the let's say the top 10% of the market. Yeah. And the reality of it is the people that need the most is the, call it from 20 to 80%, the big middle of the market. And what I'm seeing in the Next Level community is that's the target, that's the core makeup. But what's cool is the coaching's coming from the elite of the elite. And so you've got the opportunity, kind of as the air quote everyday loan officer, to be involved with elite coaching, elite content, and maybe you're not paying the elite price tag. Is that a fair way to think about it? So maybe talk a little bit about it, because I'm fascinated by the platform.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I'm a coach for Next Level, and I've been with the community for about 3 years now. Actually, 3 years this month, and it's I've been in other coaching programs, been a part of it, participant, and I can tell you Next Level is definitely different. And when I got invited to my first mastermind, went there, and it's funny, I didn't really expect too much. I expected it to be more or less what I've always seen, rinse and repeat. Because look, all the coaches, even us, all say the same thing. Primarily, maybe we have a different saying or tagline or descriptor of that strategy or whatnot, but it's all basically the same, right? Now, there may be some nuances that make it a little bit more innovative or more iteration and less innovation, what have you, whatever descriptor you want to use. But it's all roughly the same, but I at least in my mind. And when I went to that first mastermind, I was just blown away with how in depth they went into. It wasn't like just 30,000 foot view, surface level, nonsense. I mean, this was a 2-day mastermind, right? And I'm like, man, this is great. And there wasn't a lot of people in there, like a normal conference, right? Where you have 250, 300, like at our live events that we do at Next Level. But our masterminds sometimes will be, probably like 100, 150 people. Sometimes, that mastermind in Vegas, that was probably the smallest one I went to. We probably had about 50 people in that one. Now it's a higher ticket item and you have to be a member in order to attend. Right. And obviously you're paying to attend the, the event and everything. But, man, I was just blown away. And I remember texting some friends in the industry and just saying like, hey, if you're looking for something to put your loan officers through or whatever, like this is it. Like they're going like deep. And also what I liked about it is all of the what I call them the core four, the four founders of, KT, Kellen, Sean, and Shane, is that they were, active in the trenches, originating and building, doing everything. So like in a lot of other coaching programs, again, no dig on them at all, is that like you're listening to people that had done it, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 3 years ago, what have you. And when you're talking about like challenges in the market and whatnot, it's easier from someone that's like, hey, that appraisal issue that you had, I had that yesterday, and this is how I'm overcoming it from a coach's perspective. And you just don't get that with the lot and depth. And I think, one thing that we decided to migrate to is, instead of being a coaching platform, is to be a community. And to your point about, most coaching programs being like high ticket, geared to the top 10%, we have some elite people in our elite producers in our circle. We also have some that are coaching as well. Scotsman guy, top 1%, whatever. And what I could say is that what our focus isn't trying to make you a billionaire, isn't trying to make you like, I want to be making $1 million a year. That might be okay for some, but some people just want to be happy, balanced, and they're happy at like 100K or 80K, right? Maybe their spouse has another job. So and we also don't, the silliest thing that I see some coaching programs do is they give everyone the same script. Yeah. You know that more than I do. Loan officers aren't built the same. Everyone has a different way of doing pretty much every facet of this business that's not structured, meaning like an FHA loan's an FHA loan, of that type of stuff. But as far as like how they originate, their workflows, their process, how they use a processor, how they use a loan officer assistant, how do they use a loan partner? Do they even use a loan partner? Right? Like all of that stuff. How do they interact with underwriting and closing and their agents and all of that stuff? It's so different to try to make loan office. And that's what makes them special too, in my book. And to try to put them in a program that makes them do all the same thing is just nonsense to me. And so what we decided a long time ago is that our agenda is to make you the best version of the loan officer as you see it. And if that is a 3 to 5 loan, person that's, average loan amount is, 300 or 250, whatever. And that's enough income for you to be doing, 5 units to 8 units a month, or 3 to 5 units, or 3 units a month, right? If that's it, and you're happy, fantastic. How do we make you the best, freaking 3 loan a month loan officer that makes you happy? Maybe you're working less, or maybe you're like, wow, if I did this, now I'm actually doing 5 loans a month and I'm not doing any extra work and I have my balance and I'm happier, right? So like that's how we look at it. We give everyone the blueprints. Yeah. But we don't. And we give everyone the destination, but we don't just give you one path to get there. We give you multiple paths and multiple coaches like myself. Like I'm not there to help people be better loan officers. That's not my world. I'm here to help them, in sales, like with scripts and with user experience and power phrases, stuff like that. I'm here to help them with their marketing so they can attract, so they can retain, create a better experience. On that regard, and then help them with strategy. But, if they need someone like a loan originator that's talking about like guidelines and stuff like that, hey, we got some awesome coaches that are doing that do that. That's the difference that I see with ours. Plus, of our abundance mindset, we have some people that have their own coaching programs, but are still aligned with us and still active in our community, because the way we look at it is that for the right message at the right time, there's plenty of business to go around for the right people, and the ones that are the wrong people, the loan officers will discover that themselves. They don't need us saying anything. And so we just want to have the community there. It's stupid to get in. It's $197 for the year for just the community access. And if you want to go pro, that's a monthly commitment. That's more expensive. But that's up to you. You don't have to, right? And you're still get access to coaching calls. You're still going to get access to what I do from a marketing sprint level. Like, you're still going to get access to a lot of content that you just for basically, like you're going to, unless you do nothing, you will learn how to do one extra loan, or you will do one loan from what you learn in the community access. So that pays for 10 years of community access just by doing one loan. So it's and I, if you message me, I have a $50 discount on top of the $197. So for $147, you get access for a year. And look, we have over 800 people in our community, and it's an amazing community. That's, again, the agenda is your success as you see it. What makes sense for you? Not, it's not for us to tell you what a perfect loan officer is. It's for what you tell us, and then we help you get to that point.
So I've written a loan in over 20 years, and I joined the community mainly out of curiosity, but I'm learning from your community how to think about my product and how to make it better for the loan officers that we serve. So there's value, all over the place for it. And and by the way, I used your $50 discount, so thanks for that. Well, dude, it's always great to catch up with you. And congratulations on the role at leadPops, the great things you guys are doing. I'm super stoked to see kind of what's in store for our industry from you guys as 2023 kind of kicks in.
Thanks, man. No, I always love talking with you. It was funny. I was just mentioning you the other day. Who was I talking to? I think I was talking it was Andrew or someone else. Someone at leadPops when I was there, and I was talking about me being an introvert, right, or an extrovert introvert, or I think I was talking to Fredo. About this. And I mentioned, cause he's like at events, he's like, man, I know when you're done with an event, you're like, man, I need to go. Cause I could tell like you're like talking, and then like you're slowly making your way towards the exit without like saying goodbye to anyone, because then you're going to have the goodbye conversations. And so I mentioned, I'm like, I call it my Houdini. Yeah. And he's like, Houdini. I said, yeah, and so I mentioned like, hey, do you know Brian Vieaux, FinLocker? He used to be a president of Flagstar, and he's like, oh yeah, Brian. And I said, yeah, so that's who I learned it from. Because I saw him masterfully do that, where it's just like, hey, I'm out of here, and I'm gonna do my Houdini. So anyway, that's just what I love about this industry, and honestly, it's just all fun aside. You've been like I said, you were one of the first people I reached out to when the leadPops thing comes. So I value your leadership and your expertise in this industry, and I'm very, very appreciative to be your friend.
Likewise, buddy. Well, always good to have you on here. Everybody, we'll see you next Friday. Make sure you're checking out leadPops and Next Level. Thanks again, Jason.
Thanks, man.